You know me, I never buy assets. I only ever create my own stuff. But certain things I like to buy. And that's kind of like where I got into the topic yesterday of buying assets or not buying assets. I know time's important. I know. I think even Code Mikings mentioned in one of his videos that even I commented on. It's not so much that you need time when it comes to making assets or even buying assets. I think it really helps having some assets that you can purchase. Not everything. And also, if you think about it this way, if you buy the assets and you're making your game all along, and then all of a sudden you need this certain asset, and you can't find it or you can't make it, then you're kind of screwed in that sense. You have to kind of like go with whatever asset you're very similar to. So my approach is to assets is I'll buy certain assets if they match my art style. So I make my own 3D objects. And if, like, say for example, if it's like a palm tree or a table, something that I'm gonna do very repetitive, I'll purchase some of those assets. It's not too expensive, and I kind of like that sort of like a meaty kind of like approach where I use some purchase assets, but I also make my own assets in the same place. That for one, I'm not spending too much money, right? Because you never know. Maybe you're like, oh shoot, I need this asset, and then you end up spending like thousands of dollars, kind of like how Geo mentioned. Or maybe you might realize, you only need a few assets. You don't need the whole pack, right? That sort of thing is kind of like what I always say. So only spend it on what you really need. If you don't think you need that sort of asset, then don't buy it. Right? If you're not gonna use it, maybe in the future, but if it's not worth it, you're not gonna really use it, then don't buy it. Don't worry, Gio, you're not the only one. I know a lot of people that purchase a bunch of assets, never use them. So yeah, it's better to have that kind of like mentality where you can buy assets, but not everything, and then just kind of like put them in together, and then kind of go with your art style, or know an artist that can do that sort of art style. Because if not, what's gonna happen is you're gonna end up, making a game and you realize, shoot, I need this sort of design, or I need this ladder, or I need this object, but it doesn't match the style that I'm going for, right? Just I would say have either it's someone that makes it or be the one that makes it. That's very similar. Saves time. Well, saves some time, right? In the same time, but you also saving money, which is important because I know a lot of people that spend a shit ton of money on assets. Be careful with those Unity assets. They get you, huh? When you see the flash sales, they get you. They know where to get you. They can pull your strings easily. I need to learn how to use these shadows or toon shaders. I think it'll help with my crappy models. Yeah, if you use certain shaders, they do kind of like make the game kind of, or the objects, the assets pop out a little bit better. Especially like certain lighting shaders or different look shaders, or even the color shaders, where you can do like gradients, stuff like that. That's really useful. Those are actual good, useful tools. I'm more a fan of those. But for me, like I said, it's better to use a combination. I'm not saying don't buy any assets. Buy some assets, right? Buy some things that you know that you're gonna use for sure. But if you're just gonna buy it just because it's on sale or you think it's gonna save you a lot of money, then no, don't. It's not worth it. Also, learn to make assets. All right, kind of like me, Mason. We're all making assets, right? We go into Unity, or was it Blender? We make our own little objects, whatever it may be. Maybe a pirate ship, or it could be a car or something like that. All right, or have someone that knows it, and then that way you're not struggling trying to like figure out like, I hate this stupid thing. How do I make this, or how do I get this? It's my money. I'll do what I want. Yeah, exactly. And then later on, you're gonna say, "Damn, would you believe it? I spent so much money on my assets." I'm just helping you guys out, man. I'm telling you, because end of the day, yeah, it's true. It's your money, so do whatever you want with it. But whenever you say, "Damn, I need to spend more money on more assets," then you start complaining. It's like, well, you know, what can you do? To create my game, I have spent $0. Well, I mean, you could spend some money on it, right? You don't have to spend zero on it. Spend something on it. Obviously, if you need a certain tool or a certain asset that can save you time, then okay, Just manage your balance, like manage your time, right? You need to know how to manage your time, manage your budget, right? You don't want to spend a shit ton of money on a game that's not gonna make much or it's a hobby project, and then manage how to use it and recreate it. If you can do that, you're set. Yep. Damn, should have brought some big Booba anime figurines. There you go, man. You could have just used the money for anime figurines, bro. There you go, eh? You could have done that. Every hour I invest has a dollar value. It's not possible to make a game without spending anything. Time is the single most valuable resource on the planet. I agree. Time is very valuable. It goes fast. It goes like that. You need to, but this is where you need to kind of like determine where you want to spend your time on it. All right, time is precious. I'm not disagreeing with that, but also know where to spend it on. Right? Don't just kind of, just buy, and then no, say, oh, it's just my time. This is just gonna save me a lot of time. Not always. You have to kind of like evaluate it and think about it twice, and that's kind of like the best approach. Money, don't get me wrong. Spending some money is good. Spending a lot of money is bad. Spending no money is also bad. I would say find the good mediocre, or I guess you can say find the medium where you can say, okay, in my project, it's a hobby project. Maybe we'll sell something, maybe not. Maybe I can spend like 100 or 200 bucks, for example, right? I don't want to spend like 2,000, 3,000, right? 5,000 on a project that's not really gonna sell. Yeah, maybe like you said, maybe you can spend it on something else. But like I said, it is your money. Just think about it twice. Dot the i's and think about, okay, do I want to spend this much, or do you think you can, maybe spend a little bit and then do your own things? Yep, zero budget. I said what I said, Soundy. There you go, man. See, everybody, you guys have your own thing, right? You guys go with whatever you want, and it's the same with me. For me, I'll tell you guys how I am. I don't spend a lot on assets. If I do like something, like say, for example, maybe it's rocks, something that maybe a developer did a really good job on rocks, and I say it matches my art style, and I can use a lot of it, then yes, I would buy it. But if it's something I'm not gonna use for my game, I'm not gonna buy it, no matter what sale it is. Unless if it's $0, then okay, I guess I can use $0. But then that takes up memory in my computer, and I don't need that either. So you gotta think about those two things. Actually, memory, I forgot about that. Right? Don't forget those assets, those 3D assets take a lot of memory, especially if you get the big packs that comes in thousands. Those take a lot of memory out of your system, so be careful. Those are I think those are good points that I mentioned on asset. Using assets, purchasing asset, and time, of course. Yeah, that's a good one. I like it. That is really good. That's something you guys need to think about.